Salam, hello, and welcome to Beyond Conversations with Sehar Awan. Season 1 Women in Leadership. I'm Sehar, your host and founder of Beyond Talent. Throughout my journey, I've been fortunate enough to be working with leaders, and I can surely tell you there a lot goes behind their roles and their titles. This is the reason I have created this space. We will be sharing our journeys. We will be discussing about raw filter moments and unfiltered stories beyond their titles, beyond their experiences, especially for a woman leading with grace in Bahrain. Today, I'm pleased and extremely humbled to be joined by our very special guest, Ms. Amal Al Kooheji. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Amal.
Thank you so much. Your Arabic is beautiful, Sahar.
Thank you. It's truly a pleasure to have you with us today. Um, Amal, you have played many roles. You've been involved in different senior roles. You've been having like a decades of experience in different titles. So I want to know today, who is Amal?
Who is Amal? Uh, Amal today, of course, is not Amal 32 years ago when she started her journey in the world of human capital development. But I think Amal has not changed in one thing, her love for humans. I
Wow,
think
mashallah.
right from the start, I think when I started my journey back in 1994, even before that, maybe when I chose what to study, I was fascinated with the human mind. And I wanted to study psychology, but we didn't have that specialization in the country. So I went and I loved characters and analyzing characters. So the closest was literature.
Yes,
And maybe many people don't know that about me. I did not study business. I did not study HR.
mashallah.
I studied the human character, the human behavior in novels, in poetry, and did a minor in psychology where I got the scientific angle maybe. And then I started in the training world. And ML today is someone I think who creates spaces for people's curiosity to be pushed to the limit, for people to grow, for people to take ownership of their own growth, for people to develop. So I would call myself a growth advocate, as I put it in the title of my, LinkedIn and many other spaces. I am a growth advocate. This is what Amal is today.
Beautifully shared, Amal. It's amazing to know, we walk from so many different experiences. It's not just, doing one subject, maybe like business. And, some people might be thinking you do have a background in that, but, how life actually shapes you as we grow older. So, when you were a little child, like when you were young, did you ever thought that you will be in leadership, you will be in business or human capital?
I think the acts of service that I witnessed in my father made me love humans and people and giving. So I think early on the value of giving was instilled in me by my parents, by my surroundings. I think I have a family that is very closely knit, and that by itself creates that space for someone to really witness the beauty of giving. So that aspect was in me. And then the other aspect was the quest for knowledge and the value of knowledge. So coupled together, knowledge and giving together, it's made me want to give more, to learn more. So I believed that there's a lot of things that I have to gain in order to give back. And the fundamentals of that was the knowledge that I acquired through my studies, through my continuous quest of getting outside my comfort zone and learning new things and growing. And that's
Giving back
the
to the society, basically. And
yes. So giving comes in many forms, right?
yes,
So whether you give to your family, whether you give through charity, whether you give through knowledge, I believe in al-sadaqa al-jariyah
hundred.
of
Yes,
علم ينتفع به is a sadaqa jariyah in my dictionary,
yes,
of course, and many other Muslims. So I think I think that is something that is in my genes,
Yeah.
and I inherited it, and it's genetically disposed, from my parents, but also in my culture, in my society, and giving comes in many forms. I mean, even when you work, you give a lot. So I believe that work is worship, and I have to be very good at what I do, and that's the reason why many people call Amal a passionate worker. Amal works with her passion.
So Amal, as we talk about workforce and work planning, you've been in Bahrain job market for a very long period of time. What do you feel has changed over the years? Let's say past 15 years, and do you feel it's a good change or bad change?
I've been in the Bahraini market for 32 years. So
MashaAllah.
I can speak a lot about the changes. I feel, obviously, this day and age offers a lot more opportunity.
Yes.
There is much more opportunity than we had. But there's also a lot of visibility. So that's
Yes.
also a big plus. People can be seen quicker. You can share your success faster.
Yes.
People who will know you faster with all the media and the revolution of, a social media. I'm not in the social media space, by the way, yet,
Yeah.
except for LinkedIn, which is the professional space.
Yeah.
But I choose not to be for different reasons because of time and time management. And I value a lot of prioritization of my kind of mental space
Yeah.
that I don't want the social media to take space of for. However, I think one thing that I noticed that is a biggest change is resilience. I feel there's less resilience, even though there's a need for more resilience. There's a need to be able to bounce back from negative status. We have a lot of support now that we didn't have earlier in the day, but yet resilience,
Yes.
ironically, is less. So I think maybe because we were a generation that didn't question a lot,
Yes.
that adapted to situations quicker. So adaptability and resilience is less in the workforce, and I think now, even as a consultant, when I go to companies, when I see the problems in the culture, a lot of it stems from lack of resilience, unfortunately.
Yes. I second that. And the distractions, social media, and what do you think about AI?
Oh, AI is a beautiful revolution. I think AI makes smart people smarter.
Yes.
And if we
Used
know how
correctly.
to use it very well,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of negative wave against AI by many people.
Yes.
But I think, every new thing has negative, sides to it. It's how we use it. But I do believe change is the only constant. And because change is the only constant, we have to ride the waves of change in a very intelligent manner.
Definitely.
So I'm not from the generation that will resist it, not at all. I will ride those waves beautifully. I will use it to my benefit. I will make it, serve me. However, there are dangers to it, and we have to equip ourselves, I think,
Yes,
with,
and
with the tools to beat and
do
combat
you
its
really think
negativity.
like humans are, they're lost because of AI, or it's adding value to their life? Or
I think it can add value to your life,
Yeah.
or you can get lost. It depends how you use it, like I
Yeah.
said. So I think you need to be very intelligent in how to use it and how to combat its negative, conquering your mind or not
Yes.
making you think. And no, I think you need to use it smartly, wisely.
Wisely, yeah.
And we have to teach our children on how to use it wisely as
Yes.
well. and our friends and our families. I mean, my mother uses AI now.
Ah,
So
that's sweet,
it's
mashallah.
very important. And I think my brother is trying to help her use it. So
Yeah.
it's very important on being equipped with the skills of using it wisely rather than fighting it and defying its existence, because it will be there and it will grow.
So, Amal, as a woman in leadership, you were having different titles, roles throughout your journey. Did you feel any difference how you were treated? Like, let's say, be it by expectations, or like, let's say, gender-wise.
Yeah. See, throughout my career, maybe I worked formally for 24 years and I've been self employed for the last 8 years.
Inshallah.
So, throughout my career, I didn't feel any gender lens,
Wow.
especially in the Kingdom of Bahrain. I feel we're lucky to be in a country that had early women empowerment without being called women empowerment.
Yeah.
We contributed to the society very, very early on in the day. Even when the merchants of pearls went to sea, the women stayed back and
Wow.
took care of everything at home and in the
It's very
villages and in the
nice.
businesses. So to be honest, I come from a, alhamdulillah, open-minded nation,
Yes.
and I never felt at all, the gender lens or discrimination. However, now at this age, when I look back at those moments that I never ever, was aware of the,
Mm.
I wouldn't say negative behavior, but I think the unconscious bias that men had.
Mm.
And they're truly
Yeah.
unconscious biases, because now that I think about it, I remember the days where maybe I had to prove myself in double terms.
Yeah.
Maybe I look at those days where um, my bold contributions and my confidence may have been misunderstood. I
Mm.
look at those days when maybe people felt I intimidated them by my confidence, and they mistook it for being aggressive rather than confident.
Mm.
So yes, there is unconscious bias that I still now in my career now try to help organizations and
Yes.
women understand that there could be unconscious biases that you face, and it's not their fault, because they just don't know, they're unaware of those biases.
And you know how leadership looks polished from the outside, but there's so much goes behind the scenes. Your struggles, also like you carrying so many weight from your family and you're juggling life. So, in those times when life felt overwhelming, how did you keep yourself calm?
I think as a woman, not as a leader, all women, all working women, do face a lot of challenges. And I think it's the role of the husbands, the fathers, the brothers to actually give that support and provide that support. I'm lucky to have had that. I have a very supportive husband.
Alhamdulillah.
I have a father that believes in me and celebrates every success. I have brothers who are proud of me. I had managers who held me up, who believed in me and
Yeah.
pushed me. I had mentors who are male mentors who helped me along the way. But leadership is a lonely space. Leadership is something that the weight of leadership makes you, as a woman, and I think women have more empathy and have more, by nature, we have a
Yes.
nurturing character. So when you nurture your staff, when you have that feeling of empathy being higher than compassion, you can fall into trouble. And I think I learned the hard way. I learned to draw a line between empathy and compassion because they are different.
Yes.
One could be very emotionally draining. So you have to draw the line. And being in that lonely space of leadership where you carry the weight of responsibility of people under you, their dreams, their passions, their ambitions, it's not an easy space to be in. So you do need a lot of wisdom, a lot of mentorship to go through these difficult times.
So as you talked about leadership and how it gets lonely up there, how has your point of view changed for success over the time period or the phases of your life?
Yeah, success is a very big word, and it keeps changing and evolving through your life. Success, maybe to Amal at a young age, was achieving her goals, changing goals, evolving goals. It is gaining knowledge, it is gaining qualifications, it's going from being a student of literature and psychology to doing her MBA and then doing her executive education,
Shana.
and then growing up the ladder of success from being a trainer in the classroom until a senior trainer, and then a manager of human capital, and then a senior manager, and then the COO, and then an entrepreneur, So success has many definitions. But I think success today to Amal means just being herself, learning what every day, learning every single day, and what you learn and what you become. There's never right or wrong in it, you know. Uh, Even when I teach leadership, when I mentor ladies, when I coach ladies and men, there's no right and wrong way. It's your way. There is no manual for leadership.
Yes.
It's your way. And I think, I'm learning that every single day of my life, and I learn from my coachees
Definitely.
more than books, but yes,
Speaking of right and wrong, as you mentioned, was there any difficult decision you had to take, and when you look back, you're proud of yourself? That
I think there's no one decision that makes you proud of yourself. I think it's many decisions,
yeah,
and I think it's more the wrong decisions that make you learn,
yeah,
but also a lot of difficult decisions, whether a woman or a man takes. The difficult decisions that may seem very uncomfortable in the
Comfortable.
beginning, but then you learn from taking those difficult decisions that it was always, subhanallah,
Subhanallah.
a door that opens that you never knew would open.
It is going to reward you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the reward you get aftermath, after thinking, is the really, the wondrous miracle of growth and success. Yes.
So, what do you feel? How important is to stay grounded, when all this chaos, everything is going wrong, and you're handling so much stuff, so much responsibilities? How do you do that?
Staying grounded is a very interesting question. Um, I think staying grounded for a young individual or an old individual is different. But I think at this age, staying grounded means also having the wisdom to accept, the things that you cannot change, and willingly ride the waves of change, and that resilience that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I think is a very important element of being grounded. And I think the mental muscles that we have when we're older, and that is what I try to even teach young people now in my charity work, in my service work, and even in the classroom now as a trainer and as a consultant and as a coach. The mental muscles that you have to stay grounded are wisdom, empathy, learning that there's no right and wrong, looking at things from different perspectives, having the positive intelligence to know that you have to know yourself, and you have to catch your saboteurs, that are the mental saboteurs that are in your brain, that actually hijack your negative experiences. So, having control over your own brain, over your own life, is your choice. And when you make those choices, you will become a positively intelligent person that will stay grounded and enjoy whatever
Yeah.
comes your way, whether negative or positive.
Um, how do you feel about women being emotionally intelligent in leadership?
Emotional intelligence is number one quality in any leader, whether a man or a woman. We actually attribute a lot of female energy to
Yeah.
good leaders. And good men leaders have a lot of female energy. And when we say female energy, we mean the empathy part, of course, the
Exactly.
nurturing part. A
Yes.
lot of human centric leadership revolves around number one, being
Yes.
emotionally intelligent. So, emotional intelligence is the basis of becoming socially intelligent, obviously.
Yes.
And your network and the people around you will only be stronger if you are emotionally intelligent. So, women do very well in that domain. And it's just that some women are accused of being very emotional, not emotionally
It's true.
intelligent. And I think women's emotions should not be hidden. They should
True.
be celebrated, they should be embraced, and we should be happy that we have these emotions. It's what we do with them, it's how we react, and should not be negative and petty. So I think how we manage our emotions um, is the key to our success.
I was going to add that, and definitely, as you said, it's very important to balance it out. As a woman, we should know how to be emotional, how to use our emotional intelligence
Absolutely.
in the right time.
Absolutely.
And first of all, congratulations for your book, Seen Yet Silent. So, Amal, I want to know what inspired you to come up with this book, and the title is itself is very powerful.
My journey with writing started 8 years ago when I left my formal work load and started writing. And I think I was very, very passionate about a lot of things had to do with youth. And I started writing about millennials, and then I started
Wow.
another book about Gen Zs and millennials. And then I, embarked on a lot of other sort of article writing, which I do on a
Shan.
monthly basis with GDN and LinkedIn. Now, Seen Yet Silent came as a response to the impact that I felt I left recently in my women programs. See, Emil has been a person that never enjoyed talking about women empowerment, ever. So I always actually said, we're so powerful, we don't need to be empowered. And I don't believe in this women empowerment thing. But when I started training so many women only programs, I saw how much impact I left. And thanks to actually Wafa Abedat with her playbook, I saw with the masterclass and playbook, I saw how many people called me. So many young girls called me and told me that I inspired them. My simple story, which I felt had very little value, inspired them. So I think that inspiration, inspiring others, making a difference in people's lives, making a difference in women's lives, made me even go forth in my current book, the most recent book, because my partner and I, the co-authored partner, Rula Al Husseini, we teach a lot and train a lot of women. So we actually coach a lot. So we thought, why not coach and share the coaching stories? Of course, they're anonymous names, But the book is all about sharing stories of women, powerful women, women that are at the top, who have reached senior positions in multinational firms, in local large firms, yet have a lot of silence inside them. So they're already seen, seen, we are all powered and empowered, but there's so much silence that
You're
goes in.
silenced.
So much silence. We're not silenced, we silence ourselves. That's the whole point of the book. The book shows that we have all it takes, we have the platforms, but we're still silencing ourselves by our imposter syndrome, by feeling that we're not good enough, that we're not super women, that we are not perfect enough. Because a woman by nature needs everything to be perfect.
As you spoke about silencing ourselves, as a woman at a very early age, we are taught that we should be doing everything perfectly, be it dressing, cooking, taking care of our kids. And, part by part, like one by one, we start hiding our emotions. We stop expressing because we think it's not important. And as you mentioned, we are seen, but we silence ourselves within. So I would like to know, how is the feedback when this book was published?
The feedback has been great so far. I've had actually, a lot of women call,
Wow.
friends and family. But it's interesting that one of the people that called me had a very interesting question. She said, "How do men feel about this?"
Wow.
Which brings me and inspired me to start writing about how men feel about working women. So I think a lot of people felt that, yes, Amal, what you've written is so true and powerful, that we are silencing ourselves, that the saboteurs, like I talked about earlier, are within our heads, and
Yes.
we are limiting ourselves. So all these self-limiting beliefs have to vanish, because we have to ask for support. The
Yes.
thing with women, like you absolutely said, we're conditioned uh, and brought up to be perfect all the time, look nice, look sweet, and nice hair, and nice this, from a very young age,
Yeah.
right? And so we grow up, and then we go to work, and then we come back, and then we have to cook, and we have to do this. So that's quest for perfection is within us. It's within our
Yes.
conditioning, and we don't ask for help. So I think one thing that the book, at least the people who called me, mentioned, is that it created this liberation, that we're not the only women who feel this way, because we were sharing stories from the
Yes.
coaching chair. So in our sharing of stories, they felt, oh, and they were validated. So I think the biggest impact of the book is the validation, the feeling that, oh, my fear is validated. I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one who fears a boardroom. I'm not the only one who feels this unconscious bias. I'm not the only one who's not part of the men's club and feels that I'm, losing out or missing out. Because we do talk about all of the things so let me help other women create platforms, and let me even ask my organization to create platforms for women to create not equality but equity in the workplace. So
Very nice.
it created a lot of that buzz. But for
Yes.
me, my main benefit was this one comment about writing about men's views. I felt sorry for men, so I actually started this quest, and I ask these questions a lot to men in the classroom and in the training room and coachees. But I thought, no, let me interview men I don't know as well. And I started this interview now, and I'm in the middle of writing this book about how even men are silent about women empowerment, because
Mm.
they can't speak out their minds. They will feel that others will judge them as being backwards if they don't support women.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in how this book unravels and what I write. I don't know yet. I'm doing a lot of interviews, so inshallah, there are a lot of men who support women, but yet I have to get to the bottom of how they really, really feel about this.
Is there a message or a page which you want every one of us to read and it's close to your heart or something you truly believes in from the book?
There isn't a particular page, not at all. But I think you know, reading the initial, let's say, preface and the conclusion might be the most powerful points there, because at the end of the day, none of us are alone in this journey. You know, none of us are alone, and we, don't remain silent. Ask for help, ask for support, make your point. You know, and there is no right and wrong. And as I said earlier, uh, your journey is yours alone. There's no leadership manual. I'm not going to write a book and telling you, prescribing what to do and what to say. What the highs and lows of your journey are your choice. Surround yourself with people who lift you and are at a higher capacity than you are, in order for you to grow and develop and be grounded the way you are, because you're beautiful as you are.
It's a beautiful message, Amal. As we gravitate gently towards ending of this conversation, which I really don't want to end because I know we can go for hours and hours and hours, I would like to know what one message you would like to convey to someone who is building in silence and wants to be successful in life and but needs some motivation.
I think I would tell that person, live without fearing making mistakes, because mistakes will make you grow, and get out of your comfort zone as much as you can, because nobody will, you know, push you out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Take every challenge, ride the waves of change with a mindset that says, I will grow as long as I am growing. I will give, because giving is beautiful. You learn through that as well. And be a lifelong learner. Something that, and learn from everyone and everything. Reflect a lot. Reflect on every single opportunity that was given to you, and you took and you failed, or you took and you grew. You could have done something better. Reflect, be self-aware, learn about yourself more, invest in yourself. Nobody's going to invest in you. And live a life of partnership with the people around you, whether it's males or females, because we live together in a beautiful world where we can help each other and support each other.
That's a beautiful message, Amal. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I would like to add, when you look back at your journey, you will feel the risk you didn't take. You will regret the moments you thought you're not
Absolutely.
ready. So it's better to take risk, be out of your comfort zone, try new things, and live life fully. On this note, thank you so much, Amal, for your presence. It was truly wonderful to have you on my show.
Thank you for having me, and all the best.
Thank you.